You are now listening to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe. Thank you for joining us as we talk about the movies of yesteryear. You can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter by searching for Backlook Cinema. Check our show notes for more info, and now, let's get it in.
Hi, this is Zach.
And this is Zoe. Thank you for joining us at the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe, where we take a look back at the movies of yesteryear. And today, we're going to talk about
Commando.
Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Chong. That was a fabulous movie. What did you think of this movie?
It was okay.
It was okay. I thought it was better than okay.
Yeah, good for you. I'm tired.
Yeah, it was one of the movies I loved growing up. It was similar to Rambo First Blood Part 2. As a matter of fact, it actually came out the same year as Rambo. And so it was 1984 was a cornucopia of action movies came out in 1984. So yeah, that was like one of the seminal movies of my childhood. Dare I say it, it was quintessential to 1984 action movies. So before we get into talking about this movie, let me know, what have you been doing this past couple of days?
Still playing the same games on the PS4, playing a mobile game.
What mobile game you looking at now?
Can't remember the name of it. Let me look at it.
That's how mobile games are.
Yeah. It's called Monster Quest. Something else, because I ain't got time to be looking at the whole entire title of it.
That sounds a lot like it might be similar to Monster Hunter.
So yeah, Monster Quest 7 Sins. So think of it like Pokemon, but different.
Oh, okay. So Pokemon, Digimon, that type of game?
Yeah.
Collecting monsters?
Yep.
Okay. Well, sounds fun. Is it?
Somewhat.
Excuse
It's
me.
decent at times, and then other times it's like I don't know what to do or how to do it because it doesn't give you a clear direction.
Is it a game that you pay for? Or is it free?
Oh yeah, it's free to play with, paying mechanics where it's like, oh hey, give us 99 cents and you can get this many gems. Also, throw in another $1.99, you can get this without having to struggle on even trying to figure out how to evolve it.
Oh, what's even more unique about 99-cent games? I mean, free to play games is. Oh, by the way, buy this right here. Watch this ad. Watch this ad.
I watched the ad just to get it out of my way, just to get something for free. Other than that, I'm not paying a dime.
A lot of times you don't even have a choice. Like when I play the 3D Sniper game, it's like after every round, you got to watch it ad.
Well, you do have a choice. There's a quick way out of it. It's called you close the app and then reopen it.
No, I'm not going through all of that.
Trust me, it's way easier.
It's just as bad because you can skip the ad halfway through. I noticed on two of the games that I play Scrabble, which is the official Scrabble game, not like Words for Friends. It's the official Scrabble game, so I play that, and that has lots of ads, but it's also free to play. And with the 3D Sniper game, I noticed what happens is that they'll start playing the ad, the ones that you have no choice but to watch, not the ones that you choose to watch. So the ones where you're forced to watch, they'll play it for a little while, and after about 5 seconds, you have the option of skipping it. So either X will appear or a couple of arrows will appear, like a fast forward arrow will appear, and you can tap those, and that will speed up the ad, or it will end the ad in about 5 seconds. So you don't have to watch the.
Or it gives you a playable ad. It's like, oh yeah, you can play this little demo of the ad. Go ahead, so you can get a taste of what the game is like.
Right.
That is fine. But then when they play ads that don't make sense, that don't even have anything to do with the game, I just look at it and go,
well, yeah.
What makes you think I would actually download this now?
Like during the campaign, there was some presidential ads. I had a couple of Biden ads, or sometimes. Like when you go shopping on Amazon, you see some of the things that you shopped on Amazon for, or even if you look at something on like Facebook or Instagram, then you'll see a lot of those ads pop up because a lot of these games are connected to Facebook in some way, shape, or form.
Right. There's some anime games I play, and it's like, oh, let's show you this other anime game, and it's like I don't even want to play it because it looks horrible with what they're describing with it.
What trips me out is that when you when you do the ads, like when it shows you ads that you've seen before, like that you went shopping for, sometimes it'll show you ads for stuff that you bought. It's like, hey, remember that thing you bought? Look, this is the thing that you bought. Remember that thing you bought on Amazon? I already bought it. What are you advertising for?
They probably want you to buy another one, buy something else.
I know, but some of these things are like, you're not going to buy a bunch of them, you know? It's just the algorithm. It's just the algorithm, the way the algorithm works. So, what you said you're playing a couple of games on consoles. So I seen you play something on the mini Nintendo. Which one was that? The Super Nintendo or the regular Nintendo? No, it was a regular N64.
Yeah.
So you was playing a wrestling game.
Yeah. WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Right. I remember when I used to be good at that game.
The second best wrestling game on the N64.
I totally suck at it now. I used to be king of that game. I used to make it sing for me. Now I'm all confused. I can't get the controls right. It just, the wrestlers won't do what I want them to do, and I forgot most of the moves. I especially like the luchadors because they can do everything. They can do the hurricanrana. They can jump off the top rope. They can do everything.
And by the way, the reason why I said second best is because the first best is WWF No Mercy, and everyone knows that. That is the first best.
Is that
wrestling?
The one with The Rock?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good one too.
Except, because there's a bug in the game that erases all your progress. It's a complete hunk of junk.
Yeah. And then they actually progressed because I think the same company made what you call it? I'm trying to think of the name of the game, but it's slipping my mind now. Def Jam Vendetta. They made the first one.
Oh yeah, I was like,
I don't know
yeah.
about the second one, but they made the first
No,
one.
that was involved in the second one, and then the third one was complete horrible garbage because they was like, hey, you remember Round Night 4? Remember how that was good? How people like, let's do that for the next one.
Right.
And I was like, what is this nonsense you're showing me? Where
I've
are
never even seen that in the stores.
You know what? Good.
Yeah, probably.
You know what? If you want to know about it, there's a show on YouTube called What Happened.
Right.
And it basically dives in on what happened with the development of the game and why it came out like hot garbage.
Right. Because I would have tried to buy the game if I saw it was out. I never even know they made a third one because the second one was fire. I
would have told you not to buy the game. Trust me, I would have told you not to do it.
And the first one was like it played just like the WWE games. It was exactly the same. And then the second one was a little bit more evolved. But I like both of those games. I especially like this one character. And he had a preacher motif, like he had a preacher personality. So what happened is that on his finishing move, he will hold you up like a cross and face you off against all four sides of the ring, and then he would do some kind of power bomb or power driver. But that was fabulous.
Another thing that made the game so well is because you had rappers in the game fighting each other.
That was the whole point.
That was the good part. But then when the third one came out, it was like, I don't really know some of these people.
Right. Well, that's because the big name rappers, they're not really getting a whole bunch of money off of the game. So it's like they didn't really want to participate in it because it was like, we're not getting any money.
If Def Jam could ever, and I mean ever try to remake the first one and second one, I would gladly allow them to do it because I need them to do it.
Oh, I would even see if they made another one, except with the modern day rappers.
No. They need a remake. They need to remake the first one and second one.
Any of those rappers were though.
They need to remake the first one and second one before they can go ahead and move on. I
remember when they announced the Grammy Awards. I was like, I don't even know who half of these people are. I know a couple of them, but if they remade it or if they made a new one with modern rappers, I wouldn't know who any of those dudes are because I'm old, and that's how oldness works. You'll see. When you start getting older, you stop caring about music, or at least you stop caring about new music. You be like, oh, this sounds nice, but I don't care about it no more. It's like, I'm not going to listen to it 1,000 times.
I'm already like that anyway, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Okay. I see you've already evolved. Yeah, like when I was growing up, I used to know like my favorite bands. I used to know each individual members of the band. I used to know what their favorite things were. I knew too much.
Yeah, that sounds like an obsessed fan.
Not really obsession, because if I was an obsessed fan, then I would go to all these shows. I would try to break into the dressing room. I didn't do any of that.
I still consider it as an obsessed fan, no matter what.
I would just know everything about them. Like I knew every member of Destiny's Child, and I knew their bio that they released on the media. I knew the words to most of their songs the ones that I liked anyway. I still know most of the words to Forgot About Dre by Eminem and Dr. Dre. But I'm just not like that no more. I'm not gonna memorize the latest Megan Thee Stallion song. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not even gonna listen to it a bunch of times. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the culture. So what else did you play?
Oh, that's just about it.
Yeah. I played a little bit of Outer Worlds. Got a couple missions in. That felt good. Get back into that game. I wish I had played it off where days I was off work, but I didn't. But it's nice to go back to Holocron and shoot some vermin and solving missions peacefully. Yeah, peacefully solving missions. That I could have shot a bunch of people, but I was like, no, I'm going to do it the peaceful way. So that's what I did. So getting into Commando, where a retired special agent named John Matrix led an elite unit and has left the armed forces for the secluded mountain home life with his daughter, Jenny. But now he's forced out of retirement when his daughter is kidnapped by a band of thugs intent on revenge. And that was sort of written by Anthony Pereira. There I go again. Pereira. I'm going to say Pereira. It's got a Y in it. And I don't know how that Y fits in his name. And I messed up the quote anyway. But he wrote most of that. It was released on October 4th, 1985 by 20th Century Fox. It grossed over $57.5 million on a $9 million budget. And it got generally favorable reviews. And so that's pretty fantastic. I know that it was a very popular film. I remember at the time. You saw the the posters with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Commando. You just got excited. And this was I can't remember if this was before or after Predator, but this was definitely after the Terminator. Have you seen that one?
You talking about the Predator?
No, the Terminator.
Terminator. Yes, I have.
The very first one?
Yes.
So you know why it was released after the Terminator?
No, I don't know why it was released after Terminator, but
you could tell because in this movie he tells the dude, "I'll be back."
Oh yeah, I'll be back. Like,
it's like after the Terminator, he said it like every other film. He'll work it in some way. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. He'll say it some kind of way, and he did it in this movie. So that's like that was his signature phrase for a long time. So this movie stars, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger as John Matrix. You know how they use John a lot, especially in an action movie. You have John Matrix, John McClane,
John Connor,
John Rambo. Yeah, it's amazing.
As long as the name starts with John, then you know you have an action hero.
You know that's the hero when the dude's name is John. It's amazing. At least John Connor, he was the dude that needed rescuing, but still, that's a lot of Johns in movies. You notice that a lot. They don't get too creative with the first names. I don't know why. I think lately you see a lot more variety of names, but in this movie, not so much. It also had Radon Chong as Cindy. That was the almost love interest. It's funny because it seemed like she was in a lot of movies in the 80s. You see it in a lot of TV shows. Even today, maybe she was only in a few movies. I think she left an impression on me because she was in Beat Street, which is a musical. It was a hip hop type, not really a musical, but almost a musical movie. And this is when hip hop was new, and it was showcasing the early hip hop artists in rap. And we just loved it. Just growing up. I don't think it's a great movie, but I know that we loved it. And it also starred Vernon Wells as Bennett, Dan Hayeda as Arius, Alyssa Milano as Jenny Matrix. Which is kind of a funny name. Do you recognize the little girl that was the daughter?
No.
Okay. So do you recognize the name Alyssa Milano?
No.
Did you watch Charm at all?
Charm?
That's the TV show with the three witches.
No, I don't
It
believe
was
I
three
did.
or four of them. Oh shoot, that was the latest show that I remember her being in. So yeah, she was a child star at the time that she made this one. She finished the first season of this very popular sitcom called Who's the Boss, where she played the daughter of a handyman, I think, and they went and lived in this rich lady's house. So and then she continued with her career to great success, I should say, in television. So I think she may have been a guest spot in a couple of shows, and then she was in what you call it, and she was in a few movies, and then she was on Charm, and she was on Charm for a long time. So after that is Bill Duke I have written down. He played Cook, and he was also with Schwarzenegger on The Predator. He was also in X-Men: The Last Stand. He was in a whole season of Black Lightning, and he had a part in Menace to Society, which is another type of up-and-coming film similar to Boys in the Hood or Juice. It was directed by Mark L. Lester. You notice in the beginning of the movie how they show the father John's relationship with his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like an Instagram depiction of how their family life was, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Like, nobody's relationship is that good. Yeah, I can see how they picked out all the best parts. It's like they were trying hard to show that they had a close relationship, but it was like, wow, that's really close. It's like this girl has no friends. She's out in the mountain with her dad. She's totally satisfied. It was I think it was a little heavy-handed at that. But when I was watching that, I was kind of thinking about Juice and how the relationship with their parents were a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, that was more realistic. You could see.
Right.
I don't really imagine a father and daughter being like the mountaintops or whatever, basically being cut off from society, not want to be bothered. I don't really see that happening.
Right. So this movie was, like I said, it was directed by Mark L. Lester. It's his favorite movie that he directed. It was written by, and then nothing else he directed is anything that I would take note of. It was written by Jeff Lowe, Matthew Weissman, and Stephen E. DeSouza. You recognize the name Jeff Lowe?
No.
Jeff Lowe, he's like one of the kings of comics. It's like he has a huge career as a screenwriter and as a script writer, whatever. But a lot of comic fans knows him as one of the guys who created some of their favorite comics. And so right now he's producing a lot of Marvel television. He's like the king of Marvel television, at least for right now. But they're kind of washing away a lot of the old Marvel shows like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Cloak and Dagger, all those kind of shows that were before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're bringing in new shows. So he was head of that old regime, but then they're bringing in the shows that are actually connected with the movies, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Scarlet Vision. So anyway, a little bit about Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb is a Peabody-winning writer and producer. His television credits include Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Legion, as well as Lost and Smallville. His career started with writing and producing the films Teen Wolf and Commando. Interesting, because Teen Wolf should be another movie on the list.
No. No. Out of the question. I don't trust it.
Oh man, that was so popular. They actually did a cartoon after the movie. He's known for, well, you liked Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you like Back to the Future, you'll love Teen Wolf.
You know what? I'm sick and tired of that logic type of thing.
But I'm right.
No.
90% of the time.
No.
Actually, I would say 99.9%.
No.
It used to be 100%.
Move it down to 95%.
It used to be 100%. Now it's 99.
No, now it's 95%.
He's known for the graphic novels, the Batman, The Long Halloween, and Superman for All Season. And Stephen E. DeSouza, you'll recognize his work from Die Hard and Die Hard 2.
You mean the explosions? Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, the explosions, probably the witty dialogue,
The gunfire.
right? All of that. The music is by James Horner. That was pretty. That's pretty nice soundtrack. It incorporated elements that you don't normally hear in other action movies. I think that I read that he had gotten some of the elements from another movie he did called Another 48 Hours. So he's like taking elements of that song and they repurposed it, which I imagine a lot of composers do. And he also wrote, he also composed for The Legend of Zorro, Troy, and the Karate Kid remake. He's had a lot of uncredited music contributions. It's like, nah, you have that. You don't have to put my name on it. It's all right. So it's produced by Joel Silver. He produced a lot of stuff in that time period in the 80s and 90s. And so that is the basics of the movie. So what did you think of the movie?
I say it was okay. Also, we always have a few other things to do before we can even go to commercial, right?
Well, what we got to do?
First off, the reason why we do this show, what episode this show is, because you never started off what episode it was.
Yeah, I did. I forgot the whole beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for joining us for episode 10 of the Backlook Cinema podcast. I'm glad we made it to the 10th episode. I'm glad you joined us.
Yes, 2021. Woohoo.
Right. It is fully 2021 as we are recording this podcast. So what else did I forget?
The reason why we do this.
The reason why we do this is because we want to concrete our bond as father and son.
I'm pretty sure I can concrete the bond strong if I challenge you to, to a video game, aka WCW.
Well, see, why you want to challenge me in a game that I know I am not good at?
Because it makes things easier.
Or I can challenge you in the game of Mortal Kombat, a game that you should know, but for some reason don't.
Yeah, because I just don't care.
You have more time to practice that game. So what you should do, because I'm already good at it. For some reason, Mortal Kombat is one of those games that I have not lost skills at. Like I've lost skills at Street Fighter, but that's only because I was never that good at Street Fighter anyway. And I've lost some skills on all the wrestling games. But in Mortal Kombat, my skills are tight. You practice Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna go to work. I'm going to come back next week, and we're going to see how your combat skills are. And you don't have the downloaded characters, so I'm going to kick your butt with the characters that you don't have. Just to flex.
Okay, fine then.
Flexing on you. But yeah, and so after we do this Mortal Kombat challenge, we shall take over the world because that's what Bob is all about.
No, I told you we're not doing that.
What else did I forget?
Also, yeah, This show can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Pandora, Audible, or anywhere you listen to the podcast.
That's awesome. What am I supposed to say?
Where they can reach us?
Oh, you can reach us at backlookcinema.com. And at that website, you can connect to our social media pages on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And also, you can buy our merch. I think that's you next.
Yes, I know. I'm making sure I can read through everything else to make sure we don't skip over anything.
All right.
So yeah, at the merch store, you can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, and a bunch of other items. And please, if you like our show, then rate us, review us on Apple Podcasts or the various other podcasts that you listen to us on.
That's awesome. Do I say anything else?
Let's see. No, we already went through the whole entire what we've been up to. We already talked about the movie up until the credits scored. So now we can go into commercials and then be right back.
Yeah, what he said.
Okay, so I'm supposed to read this here. Drink Duff beer. Duff is good beer. It is delicious and nutritious and it's good. It's good beer. Drink Duff. Duff is good beer. It's Duff. Duff, that's the stuff. Yeah, I read it. I don't think there's anything else to read. It's just Duff is good beer. Duff is the stuff. So if you need some stuff, drink Duff. Duff is good for you. Drink Duff. It's the stuff.
Manufactured in the city of Springfield. Please drink responsibly.
All right, we're back. Thank you for returning.
Really response by Springfield now.
Yeah. Yes. Manufactured in Springfield.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's where you get Duff beer.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So now to the trivia portion. Did I forget anything else? I don't think there's anything else before trivia.
No. Yeah, you just do the trivia now.
Okay.
I gotta read nonsense too.
So thank you for joining us with the trivia portion of the show. And as usual, it's brought to you by IMDb. So at the beginning, during the attack on the house, Matrix runs into a shed to get his gun. He punches in the security code to open the door. To me, it looked like he just pushed 13, but apparently the code is 133, which is also the emergency number to call the police in Austria, where he's from. Well, I thought that was a little clever.
According to Alyssa Milano, Arnold Schwarzenegger was very protective of her on set. He even helped with my algebra homework.
Which is pretty hardcore.
That's neat.
Because even when I was doing algebra in school, I kind of sucked at it. Mark L. Lester really wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to tango David Patrick Kelly over the edge without any help. Arnold said, "Are you crazy?" And so they used a crane to hang Sully off the cliff. What's funny about that is that that was one of the parts that I remember most about this movie. I showed you the trailer before the movie started, and the funny thing was they used up his best bits on the trailer. Like that was kind of wasted on the trailer. So that's one of my favorite parts. Remember, Sully, when I told you I would kill you last?
I lied.
He was like, yeah, Matrix did, because he thought he was going to live.
Now, when you watch the trailer, it makes you think, oh, he must have killed other people before him. Or at least, just like a little bit handful. No, he only kills one. He kills like two dudes.
Right.
One in the house and then the other one on the plane. That's when he goes to Sully. Like, I know I said I'd kill you last because I said he was a funny man.
Right.
But actually, that was just a lie just to calm you down a little bit. Just to give you some closure.
Actually, the other thing you notice about this movie is that for its time, for 1985 movie that is based on a white protagonist, it did have a lot of people of color in this film.
Yeah, which is nice.
Ray Chong as an almost love interest, and you'll find out why I say that when we get later on in the trivia. They have basically most of the black guys in the gang that was kidnapping the little girl, but I think he had one dude that was the black guy that was protecting him didn't die immediately. He actually
he lived from a bullet in the arm.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was the black guy and the white guy that was supposed to protect his house in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, the white guy died. I was like, okay then.
Immediately.
I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then he's like, talking about smelling the air. Talking about, you think I can do that?
Right.
Talking about, I did. That's how I knew they was there. And I'm like, they don't have the same training as you.
Right.
And the moment he gets his guns, goes back in the house, the same dude that he was like, just keep a lookout, dead. And I was like, yeah, I saw that coming.
Right. But he didn't die first, and that is noteworthy. But then the other black dude he wasn't actually featured, but he provided another memorable moment. It's like, breaker, I need some security help over here. There's this guy that we need to take a look at. He is one gigantic mother.
And again, he's trying to flex on these girls, talking about, hey, want to see me in action? I'm like, really? And then you had to call him for back. I'm like, that's doesn't help your case.
Right. That doesn't help your cred. There was a lot of things in these movies that kind of cracked me up like that. Like the other thing is that in the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger played a cyborg, so obviously he's much stronger than an average human because he has an endoskeleton. So he can do a lot of things that, regular people can't do, but he's doing that same stuff in this movie. Like he's on the plane and to get out, he has to rip through some fabric. Now that fabric that he just pokes his finger through, that's very tough fabric. You just can't poke your fingers through that material. You would need a very sharp knife, and even if you had a knife or a sword, preferably, you would have to be very strong to cut through that fabric. Yet he just sticks his fingers through it, and he's in there.
And then you have him picking up a telephone pole with no issue. Just
you talking about the telephone booth?
Yeah, again, no issue. Just picks it up.
Right. Well, he picks it up with Sully inside. Now he probably wouldn't have had an issue picking it up, but because it's hardwired with metal fastenings to the wall, it's probably screwed into the wall, into the floor. He probably wouldn't be able to pick it up just because it was screwed into the wall and the floor. So another thing that kind of tripped me out is that before Sully goes to the phone booth, he has to rob a quarter from Cindy, Ray Don Chong's character. Give me a quarter, because it's before cell phones, which I thought was funny. So watching movies that came out before cell phones is always a trip. I mean, technically they had cell phones back then, but it wasn't widespread. So back then you had people with car phones, or you had people with like the giant bricks that they used to carry around, and that just wasn't practical for most people. So he's like, he had to steal one. He had to steal a quarter so he could make a phone call, and so that was a joke.
I see. Vernon Wells described his look as Freddie Mercury on steroids.
So do you know who Freddie Mercury is?
Yeah, I know who he is. He's a singer of Queen. I don't know
Yes.
who doesn't know that.
And it's funny because when this movie came out, I had not actually seen Queen before. Like, I listened to their music, but I never actually seen what they look like. I didn't know what they look like, but only recently, like when they did the biopic of Freddie Mercury I guess it was a couple of years ago. And then you started seeing his pictures, like, oh my God, yeah, he does look like Freddie Mercury on steroids. Oh my goodness. How do you like my reading glasses? Oh, I can see the screen now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm wearing contacts now. So if I wear contacts, I have to wear glasses because my eyesight for reading is failing. Or if I wear my glasses, then I have to take off my glasses in order to read. Or if I'm not wearing contacts, I have to wear, I have to wear glasses for nearsightedness. And then I have to take my glasses off so I can read. It's just a weird situation to be into. So I'm wearing contacts because every time I put on a mask when I go outside, glasses fog up. It's annoying. It's hard to deal with. So now I'm wearing contacts. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, let's see. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ray Don Chong sought a love scene, but it was deemed unconvincing and was dropped from the movie. Now, I'm not exactly sure which one of them couldn't act. Probably Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, man, this looks fake as hell. Nobody's gonna buy this. That's why I say it was a supposed love interest. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah, what else? During this scene in the shed, after Matrix cuts the soldier arms off, he originally supposed to hit the victim with it and say, "Need a hand." This scene was never shot. However, it was considered to macabre. Despite this, the 2007 director's cut restored a few extra seconds of the photos of Matrix tossing the cut limb nonchalantly at the wounded soldier, as most likely a lighter alternative to blatantly hitting him with it.
Yeah. So I was thinking about whether or not I should get rented director's cut, and I decided against it. I was like, back then it was, they were probably worried about the rating, but nowadays it's like, oh, that's rated R. It's not a big deal. It would have been corny if he did that too. I mean, he was already you got him just cutting the person's arm off with one swipe, which most likely impossible. Like one of the,
of course, it's impossible.
One of those impossible feats of strength that he did in the movie. But it's like he's on a Schwarzenegger. He can do anything. So because it's not just his character Matrix. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. So you have him breaking chains, like Full Metal chains.
Oh yeah, breaking a lock with no issue, and I'm like,
break the lock. He broke the chain, which is incredible. He's like Wonder Woman or Superman. The mansion used in the final shootout between Matrix and Arias, the former Harold Lloyd Estates in Beverly Hills, is the same mansion in the final shootout between Axel Foley and Victor Maitland in Beverly Hills Cop, which came out in 1984. Coincidentally, both Matrix and Foley were trying to rescue somebody named Jenny in that mansion in their respective films.
So they just reuse the same mansion and reuse the same version?
Oh man, you would be surprised.
Wow.
There's a lot of stuff that get reused in Hollywood because it saves money. For example, you ever see Starship Troopers?
I don't think I have.
Oh, that's another one that's going.
No.
But Starship Troopers, they got a particular helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they custom made these helmets because they're soldiers. So it's supposed to be in the future. So I think they custom made these particular helmets for the movie. But then after that movie comes out, you see that helmet on almost every other sci-fi soldier movie that comes out. You see that particular helmet. And so they'll reuse buildings, locations. In Star Trek, there's a particular rocky formation out in the Midwest that they use to shoot one of the episodes of the original Star Trek. It came out in 1960s. And then every once in a while, they go back to that rock, and all of a sudden, it's an alien planet, or it's some other location. That that's what Hollywood does. If they can do something to save money, they'll go ahead and reshoot it or reuse it. They'll dress it up differently, and then they'll reuse it. Sets, props, almost anything. So yeah, actors, especially because they'll have them on especially series television. They'll have them playing one role, and then they'll bring them back playing a totally different person. So yeah, Hollywood is good for that.
Yeah, Arias Dan Hedaya.
Yeah, that's good.
Is said to be deposed director from
Dictator.
Dictator from the country of Valverde. Valverde was a fictional South Central American country used by Hollywood from the 1980s to early 1990s to depict a Spanish-speaking country similar to Cuba or Nicaragua without encountering diplomatic problems. It is also referenced in films Predator that came out in 1987 and Die Hard 2, which came out in 1990.
Yeah, so they use Valverde a lot, and I never even noticed it. I probably thought it was a real country when I was growing up.
I mean, yeah, you would think it's a real country when they have, basically almost looking like the country is supposed to be representing.
Well, they actually never really went to those countries. They just referenced and they just said that the countries exist. They wanted to reference like a place like Nicaragua or a place like Cuba. They didn't want any problems with those countries. They was like, well, maybe we want to shoot there one day, and maybe we shouldn't talk bad about them. So they just made up a country to represent those countries, and they still do that from time to time today. But what's trippy is that like all the Hollywood studios was using this one made up country. So that's the trip about it. It's almost like a stopgap or some sort. So Arnold Schwarzenegger performed many of his own stunts, as the producer found it difficult to find a stunt double for the bodybuilder. The actor suffered a dislocated shoulder and several stitches during the shoot.
Yeah, I can tell where one of those dislocated shoulders come from. Probably from dropping from the plane.
Right. Probably. Oh, that was probably a stunt double. Because it was shot, it was shot from far away.
Yeah, it's shot from far away, sure.
They would just take a regular guy, put some padding on him to make him look bigger, and then he would drop from the plane. But some other stuff like, the close-up fight scenes.
Possibly
those are where he
picking up a telephone booth, maybe,
right,
who knows? Trying to swing from the top of the floor all the way down onto an elevator moving down.
Actually, that looked kind of sweet. And there was a kind of tiny little plot hole in that particular whole circumstance. So remember, John Matrix basically kidnaps Cindy and forces her to help him.
Yep.
That's why he drives her to the mall and whatnot. But see, the problem is she don't know if he's telling the truth. It's like the whole time she thinks he's crazy, which is a proper response.
Oh yeah, she does tell the officer, "Hey, yeah, there's a crazy guy out there in a green shirt. He's a bodybuilder.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I think he's crazy.
Right.
Can you go check him out,
And
maybe?"
that's what starts the whole fight. Now, had she not done that, had she done exactly what John told her to do, none of that would have happened. But then it's like during the fight, she has a change of heart. She jumps into the car with him, and she's like, "I'm going to help you save your daughter." And she was mad. She was like, "And you're swinging from Tarzan and you're shooting." All that was her fault. 100% of that was her fault.
Another thing, she did save him from getting shot too.
Yeah,
she was like, and then there was a police that was about to shoot you, and I saved you from that. Aren't you going to tell me what's going on? No. And I'm like, no, of course not. He already told you beforehand what he's trying to do.
Right. That they almost they had wanted to get Nick Nolte to play that character, but for whatever reason they didn't get him. So they rewrote the character a little bit to fit Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, see, the film came out the same year. Similarity themed Rambo First Blood Part 2 that came out in 1985, starring Sylvester Stallone. Both films performed well at the box office through Stallone's films, Stallone's films was much bigger, hit and culture global phenomenon. The fact that Sylvester Stallone and Schwarzenegger had competing films out in the same year fueled the Stallone versus Schwarzenegger rivalry that went on for years, both with each other and in the media.
Yeah.
They fought over this, really? Okay.
Not really fought. It was Coke versus Pepsi, but they were very competitive. I think there was one incident where there was a movie that Arnold had read for, but he didn't like it, so he encouraged Stallone to go for it, knowing that it was bad.
he's like, you know what? I don't like it. This sounds horrible. Hey, Stallone, here you go. Right. Go ahead, do it.
Right.
It's perfect for you.
Right. He's devious that way. He was that way when he was a bodybuilder. So there was one thing that he did as a bodybuilder with this particular competitor was like he was like, "Oh man, you're looking kind of flabby there. You're looking a little fat." And then what happened was the dude started to work out too hard. He started to shred too much, and then I guess he lost. Even he was smaller than he should have been, and I think he lost to Arnold. So he would do stuff like that. He would play mind games with the other athletes. So he was that kind of person. So what have you learned from this movie?
Don't try to cross Schwarzenegger because he might double cross you. Apparently, he's a very devious person.
Yeah, that and action movies are fun.
Along with don't take an ex-soldier's daughter and then try to claim hostage, even though one of the guys that used to work for him, like, yeah, he's a very dangerous man. I'm not afraid of him, but you are. That's where you got me. But he's a very dangerous man to be trying to hold hostage for. That's not good to bargain with.
Yeah, the other thing he said was that the so-called dictator, he was like, you're the one that's afraid of him. It's like, yes, I am afraid of him, but I have his daughter. So that's
You're talking about, I have his daughter. You have nothing.
Right. All you got is me to protect you from him.
That's the only thing that's standing between him and you is me.
Right.
So think about your choices before you even dare try to threaten me. Right. What I'm saying, your men suck so hard, it doesn't even matter for me.
Yeah, he's like, I can kill all your men like that.
Like me and Matrix, in the snap, gone. There's nothing.
So let's see what the critics say. The critics gave it 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the audience score was 67%, which is strange, but I think is because as time went on, more people reviewed it, and it didn't what you call it,
age well or something.
Yeah, because some of it I'm always looking at some of the technical aspects. So like when they show the soldiers' hair was way too long. Like you see it bunched up in the back of their helmets or the back of their caps. It's like that's way too much hair for a soldier. All that hair needs to be gone. or where they were shooting from the hip. That's a very popular technique for shooting guns in the movies.
Yeah, shooting guns, not even reloading at all. It's better yet. Just once the ammo's out, drop the gun.
Just drop the weapon.
It's like, okay,
once
then.
The ammo ran out. Once Arnold ran out, he just dropped it. But to be fair, he did have a lot. But it was funny, right? Because he grabbed a bunch of magazines.
Yeah, he grabbed a bunch of magazines.
One. For each weapon, it seemed he only used one. Let me go back all the way to the middle when Cindy rescues Arnold or John from the cops. So he's in a paddy wagon. And she aims a rocket.
Oh, yeah, rocket launcher. She aims it the wrong way, shoots it. And it was like, oh, wrong way. Turn it around, shoots it again. Flies back. And I'm like, wait, if you flew back from that one, why didn't you flew forward from the first shot?
I guess she should have. But
confused.
It may have been the way she braced herself. But I wanted to point out that
she read the instructions
at the paddy wagon. But, she hit the ground.
Yeah, it hit the ground.
But she could have hit the truck itself. Had she hit the truck itself, square center, she would have killed everybody in that truck. I mean, that's just, come on now.
Another thing, I love how she lied to me. Oh, yeah, I read the instructions. What instructions? That thing doesn't come with instructions.
Well, actually, for one thing, they do come with instructions.
I don't think she...
On the weapon
on
itself.
The weapon, but I don't think she read on how to use it right.
The other thing is that somebody had noted that when they were piling up all of the weapons in the supermarket, she actually grabbed the instructions for the rocket launcher. So she could have conceivably done it. And it's like every weapon in the military has instructions on it. The mines that Arnold had used that he planted in the ground, remember that?
Yeah.
Those are called Claymore mines. On the mine itself, it says point at enemy. Because the way they work is that one side of the mine blows up and blasts ball bearings forward in one direction. The other side is safe, so you would stay behind that safe side.
Yeah,
and that's why it says face forward towards enemy. You got to know which side that you're facing towards the enemy. Or a hand grenade that has instructions: pull pin, throw at enemy. The only weapon that doesn't actually have instructions are the handguns. And so
those are just simple.
But all the higher level equipment, most of the higher level equipment they have instructions actually written on them. The other thing is that oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. My bad. Let's go to what the critics were thinking. I was on a roll there. I
thought you kind of brought up on how John could have, like, when he throws a grenade, it's not like he's waiting. He just automatically throws them and it, cuts to a shot. It just explodes.
Yeah, you're supposed to throw them.
Like, but sometimes, like, you could hold them for a little bit, but you count down so they can't have time to pick it up and throw it back.
Yeah, that's a technique, but that's very dangerous. Like,
oh yeah, it's dangerous.
Where they train, like, since he's special forces, they might train him to do that. But you think, they tell you, like, with American grenades, you probably have 5 seconds, but the key word is probably, because you're dealing with a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
So it may go off in 5 seconds. It might go off in 2. You might be counting down 5, 4, boom. It could blow up right then and there. You don't really want to mess with a chemical reaction.
Let's see. Another thing is when John blew up the building, you have soldiers that's not even near the building when it explodes, and yet they jump for it.
Yeah, those explosions were way overblown, especially like the first few explosions. Those were the Claymore mines. Claymores are anti-personnel mine. That means they're only designed to kill people. They don't have that kind of fire and blood. What you call it? That
blunt force,
massive explosion. You're not going to see a whole bunch of fire and fire.
And I believe he only painted on like 1 or 2 or possibly 3 down.
Right.
And that's just about it. I'm like,
but they just showed the same explosion over and over again.
Oh yeah, over and over. Like, this is just replay it.
Right. They just
go back again,
replay the explosion.
Yeah, that's good
for the audience. But yeah, those explosions were way more massive than what Claymores are supposed to do.
At least
same thing with grenades. Like in some games, the grenades are a little bit more realistic, where you throw the grenade and you just see a pop of smoke. And that's what a grenade is supposed to look like.
Let's see. At least he counted how much, ammo the rocket launcher had. Because it's like, okay, the first 2 shots was already used outside. Right. I only got 2 shots left. Let me use it wisely. Okay, first on that truck that's coming towards me, because again, they don't think and they can't aim. And now for the door, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. They can't aim.
Right. They aim like stormtroopers, and then then he shot at the door, and then he dropped it like he was supposed to, because he knew that he only had.
He was like, oh, that's done.
Right.
And then after that, he was like, okay, I got nothing else in my vest. I'm pretty sure you had some shotgun shells on your vest, but whatever,
Right.
Apparently, you might have probably already used them all.
Well, it
Got
takes a
rid of
while to reload shotgun shells, but still.
Got rid of the vest. He was like, okay, I gotta hide somewhere. Where can I hide? Ooh, let me hide on top. They won't shoot on top, which, no, they didn't.
Right, yeah.
They shoot from mid to low because they're like, okay.
That makes sense because that's probably where he would have been at. And so, yeah, he went to hide in the shed because he was in dire straits.
Sure, and then when he got in the chance, one guy came in, stuck him with a pitchfork. I'm not even going to question that should be possible. Next one, he got what was it, some blades he grabbed, threw it. I'm pretty sure. Sure the first guy he threw it at head was supposed to come off the top part of the head, because that's what it looked like. But it's like, we don't have that type of artwork technology to do that. So just hold the blade and pretend your head got whatever. Other guy, I think it hit him in the.
It didn't even look like you.
Other guy got hit in the neck, I think, and I'm like, that's just horrible. Your head is supposed to be off. Like, top of your head is supposed to be gone. All it looked like is your hair is gone.
Right.
That's all it looked like, was the top of his head of his hair is gone.
Right. So, I think he survived that encounter.
Yeah, he survived and just played dead. It's like, okay, yeah, I can escape.
Yeah, I don't want to fight no more. So, returning to the critic score, Dave Kerr, he says comic book stuff helped out by the presence of Radon Chong as an airline stewardess whose sarcastic commentary adds some comic counterpoint to the deliberately overscaled action. I would say that he's correct. The Variety staff wrote, Chong lights up the film like Firefly. Schwarzenegger delivers a certain light touch of his own, and the result is a palpable action comics. And you know what? It was written by a comic book writer. So, yeah,
that makes sense. Would it be like a comic book?
You got two people that mention comics and comic books. So, yeah, I would say they're correct. Rumsey Taylor says the finale is laughably preposterous with a speedo ed. What did I write here?
Yeah, Speedo Ed Commando landing on a remote island, gunning down at least 100 men with fake mustaches and indiscriminately
blowing up buildings in search of little Alyssa. Which, yeah, I would agree. This is actually negative review.
First of all, why is he in a Speedo? He could have just been already clothed, doing all that.
Yeah, I think that when he mentioned that when he went to the island, he was basically naked.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are you in a Speedo?
Because you have to show gratuitously naked Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, you don't.
That was the requirement.
That was his requirement. He
has to be naked.
Why
didn't he put his clothes on in the plane? We gotta have naked Arnold. He can wear Speedos.
He's like, I want one scene where I'm naked. That's it.
No, I don't even think he wants it. I think they wanted it. There's one.
Are you sure? Look at Terminator, because he's basically.
Well, yeah, but that's Terminator. So but there are some movies like when you get later on, he doesn't take off his clothes as much. But I think even I don't even think. No, he did. I was thinking about Total Recall, but yeah, when he wakes up in the morning, he's naked Arnold. So yeah, it's like. If I think the way producers feel is that if they get Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're gonna have to have naked Arnold. They're showing his chest, his bulging muscles. So it was like, when can we show Arnold naked? How about this? He has a biplane. He gets on a boat from a biplane, and then in the rowboat, he's totally naked. Why didn't he put on the clothes of the biplane? Let's say it's too small, huh? Let's just say that. Let's say it's too small for him to get dressed up. So he gets on the plane naked. But he's gonna take his shirt off later in the film. It's not good enough. He's got paint on. You got to get him before he puts the paint on, because now he's covering up.
You know, when you brought that up, talking about the plane's too small. Then how come he can take off his clothes? He's in the plane taking his clothes off.
Well, he had light clothes on, like a shirt,
I don't want
regular pants. But then the other stuff, he has to put on like a heavier coat. No, he didn't put on a coat, but he had to put on that vest with all of the.
Well, he could have put that on last when he got on ice, but the pants and boots could have been on.
You know, they were like, no, we don't. That's the contract says he has to be naked. So
that is a horrible
so
contract.
That's what we're doing. Let's see. I read so like I said, that was supposed to be a negative review, but I have to say he was correct. And the last one, Trevor Johnston says, lots of machine gun fire, explosions, and disposable khaki-clad extras, as you'd expect. That was a negative review, and I have to say that he was correct in his assessment. This movie was both good and bad, I have to say.
I mean, he had to deal with 100+ men, and it's like they're like ants in a game.
Yeah,
like it's like when you're playing a story single player game, and you're like, okay, I'm all alone. I got to do this by myself. And it's like no matter how many men you kill, there's always somehow more coming out of the corner, and you're like, how?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, they had an amazing amount of men. As a matter of fact, it got me thinking about the very beginning of the movie when the general came and he dropped off those 2 soldiers that were supposed to protect John and his daughter. Just drop off 2 soldiers. Like, these men will protect you. They ain't got no change of clothes. They ain't got no food. They got nothing. They just
like, yeah, you can take them to my John. You can feed them for me. Like, thanks, John. I see you later, man. Remember, I trained you. I know how you work. Bye, John. No.
Right.
You're basically making this man babysit 2 grown men for no reason.
Right. That's basically it. Not only that, but it's like if you was going to do that, you would have like at least a squad, at least 4 or 5 men, or half a platoon, 2 squads, something like that. Because then you don't have 2 men just standing around all day. You have enough men where they can change shift, and you'd probably have a couple of guys that were making meals, and a couple of guys that was I don't know, extra just in case a guy got sick.
You know, I do like how he asked Kirby, are they good? They're good enough. No. That does not work for him. He wants to know that they can actually protect him while him taking action.
He said they're almost as good as you.
I'm like, are you sure? Because when I'm pretty sure my doubt went down after he was like, yeah, I smelt them. And I was like, yeah, they're not good as you. Right, that is no. If they could not smell the other men, they're not good as you.
Not only that, but it's like they got smoked almost. Like he knew there's something was up. That's why he ran into the house. He didn't even tell the other guys to get down.
He was like, you know what? Let's test the theory if they're good as me. I'm going to pick up my daughter. All right, time to go. One down, one is barely alive. Well, looks like he lied to me.
Right.
Did he even train these men like he trained me? I highly doubt it now.
Right. It don't seem like it. It's like those men died immediately. Well, no, one of them survived for a little bit, but yeah. So, I really liked the gags they used in the film. What was your favorite parts?
Yeah, when he hangs the guy, tell him I'll remember what I will come for you last. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was excellent.
I was like, yeah, time out. I won't do a thing. That's why there's gravity. I was like, yeah, he won't have to really do a thing. And remember, this is my weak arm. And I'm like, ooh, that's even worse. That's his weak arm.
That was funny, too. He was like, you gotta watch it. This is my weak arm, Sully. because of that one scene, I know that guy's character's name. I know his name is Sully. That's my favorite line from the film. Remember, Sully, when I told you I would give you last? I love that. I was awesome.
You had the scene on the plane when he basically kills the guy right next to him. He's like, don't disturb my friend. He's dead asleep. I'm like,
he's dead tired.
Yeah, dead tired. I'm like, uh-huh. When the plane finally lands, his face is all blue, blood is coming out his nose and mouth. I'm like, yeah, people are noticing that now.
Right, he was dead a long time. But that was that was pretty clever. I really like that. That was it is like he's trying to fix his blanket up, trying to get it all neat, and just wham. And
he's like, whoops. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I hit you? It's okay, buddy. Crack. Oh, he's tired. He's good. He's all right. Another good one. When they go to the mall, and this man, it's like, do they even leave keys in these things for the tractors, whatever he was using? Like, I feel like they just leave keys in them at this moment. Right. And he's using it, bust through the mall. I'm like, there's no alarm, so I'm guessing.
I think it was just a store.
Yeah, stores, whatever.
It was a Army surplus store, and
he still breaks into it. That was
my first thought. So where did that backhoe come from? No, it was a backhoe. It was a digger or a dig scooper. I don't know what you call it. I don't know.
I was like,
it had a scoop on the front of it, ladies and gentlemen. It was an orange construction vehicle with tank treads, and it had a scooper in front of it. Like it scoops up dirt, the big one, not a backhoe. I know what a backhoe is. It's not the backward scooper. It was the giant scoop, a plow. That's what it is. It was a plow. So he found a plow that
magically
was just sitting around somewhere
with the keys.
With the keys in it. I think that you need keys with a plow. See, here's the thing about it. Those types of vehicles. Sometimes they have keys and sometimes they do not. If they don't have keys, what the people usually do is they take a chain and a lock and they wrap the chain around like the steering wheel, or they chain it to like a permanent fixture like a telephone pole or something like that.
He probably broke the chains there.
Probably broke the chain.
Yeah, fine.
Broke the telephone pole, because those types of vehicles are push button, or they have key. Why would they just leave the key in the vehicle? Because they don't want people to steal it. That doesn't make any sense. This is 1980s. People steal stuff.
And again, bust through the windows, go in.
At least he didn't break it with his hand.
He could have.
He could have just broke down the door, but instead he used a tractor. I don't know why. What was the purpose of that?
And then, going through, getting some equipment. And then
shopping.
Yeah, shopping. Cindy's like, what do you mean shopping? Why would we go shopping? I'm like, screw it. Let's go shopping. Let's do it. Goes in and starts grabbing a bunch of things, pants, flippers. First of all, he didn't even use the flippers.
Yeah.
He grabbed the flippers and he doesn't use. I'm like, what's with the flippers then?
Just in case. You know how you go shopping, you get stuff, you don't know if you need them or not. Better to have it not need it. So that was his philosophy.
Grabbed a bunch of guns, put it in the car. See, backed away to put it in the car that they took. And by the way, this is basically the second stolen car, because the first one was Sully's. Right. The second one was Sully's friend that came to see him. Right. And I was like, well, okay, this is Grand Theft Auto right now. And as he's like, okay, I need some extra things, he started grabbing a few more guns, grabbed a handgun. Next, cops are there. I'm like, wow. Just wow.
Yeah, see, that's what he got for getting greedy. But see, that's actually kind of realistic. So when he broke through that door, the cops already know the gunshot probably has some kind of alarm.
Silent alarm.
Breaking through the gunshot would start off an alarm. He should have known that, but he's not a criminal. He's a soldier, so he wasn't really timing himself. And then and so he gets caught, and then he gets rescued. Yeah,
he gets thrown in a cop, not a car, paddy wagon. And now they don't even notice that there's a second car there. Even though, no, because remember, you see the lights once he exits the place. Right. None of them be like, hey, who's that? Right. Stop her.
As a matter of fact, they don't notice that there's a car there when they first break into the
I'm like, shouldn't there be a car?
How is there like a hole in the front of the store? You see the plow in the store, but you don't check that there's a car. How is he going to carry these guns? I use them to walk out the store. Nobody thinks to check. See where the getaway car is. Look around, see if there's a car driving away. No, none of that. No. They totally missed it.
And then, here's another thing. The paddy wagon is just going off by itself. There's no escort.
Right.
They don't think, maybe he might have a friend that might try to break him out. They don't think that. They just off paddy wagon in a lone light. And there's no other cars there. And then, C pulls up. And it's like, oh, hey there, pretty lady. Light turns green, they drive off. C gets up, it's like, hey, look, she might be trying to get something. I wonder what it is. Picks up the rocket launcher and, pointing it at the wrong way, shoots it, and it's just like, oh, shoot, wrong way. And they're like, oh, God, hurry, get out of here. Turns it around quick enough to shoot it again and hit the truck, magically making sure not hitting the truck center, because that would also kill John.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, that's good.
She used that rocket launcher like a scalpel. For somebody who just read the directions.
Oh yeah, by the way, those cops are there too, because they didn't say. Actually, did they come out?
I don't think they died.
I think they did pop out and be like, "Wait, where you think you're going?" It's like,
it was survivable because the front end. I don't think the front end hit anything. But what's funny is that it could be that that's exactly where she was aiming, or it could be that she was aiming for a totally different spot.
Pretty sure she was aiming for a totally different spot because it did not look like she was aiming.
I'm thinking about on The Mandalorian when Boba Fett, you see him use his rocket, and so there are two ships escaping.
Oh yeah, I seen what you're talking about. Yeah,
he shoots a rocket and he shoots it at one, and Din Djarin says, "Oh, nice shot." And Boba says, "I was aiming for the other one." He shoots one ship, and I think the one ship they crash into each other, and they both go down. But I think it's that situation in this movie. She may have been aiming for the front end, or maybe she was aiming for the top. Maybe she was just aiming to hit like directly behind him, but she kind of hit like the tire or whatever, and basically sent it sprawling. Yeah, she's a lucky shot. You know how?
Yeah, I would say that was a lucky shot, especially when she's only a black belt. When she tried to use a threat, and John told me, "I have a black belt." That doesn't mean anything to this man. He came up behind you, silently.
Right. Not only that, but he's a black belt too. Oh, there was a judo expert that claimed that well, he actually helped train Arnold on his action moves because you notice that in this movie he has a lot more finesse than you may have seen in other Schwarzenegger action movies, and that's because he had this trainer that trained him in those moves, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, he's basically a black belt now." I don't know how true that is, but I imagine that he probably did go through a lot of training, and I was pleased with the fight scenes where it was hand-to-hand combat because it looked really authentic when he was doing it.
You know, when he was fighting that one guy in the motel,
Right.
ended up breaking through another door where two couples are, getting down the dirty business.
Right.
And it's like, yeah.
I'm not talking about that fight in particular, but
And they're like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And they're still fighting. None of them call the cops, by the way. That's what it seems like. They're all fighting. Not one of the two people call the cops.
I mean, I imagine.
And apparently there's the only two people there because apparently no one else heard this fight going on. No one else heard gunshots going on. There's no one hearing gunshots, even though there's a bunch of cars in front of the motel.
Right. You would think, well, maybe they did call. It takes a while for the cops to show up. That could be it. So all your favorite parts are basically all my favorite parts. So you got the thing where the Sully, you got the thing where you killed dude in the airplane. I liked the first person to be killed wasn't black, but basically all of the bad guys were black, except but they did have Chong as his companion, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's. Oh, I think I wrote something down. What was really a trip is because I took some notes as I was watching some things I wanted to hit on. So you had Sully, who is persistent with Cindy, just following her around when she's on the phone before she's abducted by John, and he just kept pestering her for a date or whatever, and then following her to her car. I was like, this dude is like the worst. And then when he doesn't get what he wants, he calls her a whore. I'm like, oh, this is just a horrible human being. And then when he goes parking, he parks his car at a shopping center and it's or a mall, and he's parked all crooked. It's like, now I want to kill him because he's that kind of douchebag. He's a total douche because not only is he abusive to women, but he parks his car crooked. That to me is a death sentence right there, or at least slap him in the face sentence. That's the kind of person that hate somebody, just drive up, just parks his car crooked. That's it's nasty, it's mean, it's totally annoying. Then when you hit their car, they're like, when you hit my car, you parked crooked. That's why your car is messed up. You know
what a really good scene was? The last scene is when Bennett has Sully's not Sully. When Jeanette is captured, she's held by Bennett.
Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny. She's held by Bennett. And then he's like, and Arnold's like, we can do this hand to hand. You already shot me in your arm. I only got one good arm. So come on. What you doing with that puny gun? Fighting like a man, holding a knife. I'm like, really? Is he really going to fall for this? Right. And then you see his eyes goes to fear. He's like, this is a trap, but I know I can beat him. He's like, I can beat you. I don't need this gun. Drops the gun, pulls out a knife himself. I'm like, you're just falling for this trap.
It's not that he's like mentally unstable. That's why.
Mentally unstable is clear.
You remember he got booted off of Arnold's group. He got booted off the team back when they were Commandos or whatever. He got booted off of John's Commando team. So he's been mad about that ever since. Just mad. And now he gets his chance. He gets his chance for revenge. So, I can beat you, John. I don't need this puny gun. I can beat you. He's like, Don't you want to fight with the knife and stick it in me and twist it? Look at my eyes. What's going on in there? Come on.
And then, you have when what's his name? Commander Kirby or something like that comes in. He's like, John, we can open up the force again for you. Come on, come back. He's like, no, stop. I already said no the first time. What makes you think I want to do it again? Right. You see my daughter. Leave me alone. I want a peaceful life.
Right.
I want to be left alone. Stop bothering me. Go away.
And to their credit, they never made a sequel to Commando.
Good.
So he
kept his word.
He kept his word. They weren't able to call him back. There were no more kidnappings. Any sequel probably would have hurt this movie. The only way they could have done a sequel if they would have done it with a different character, and maybe that character went to John to get some advice or whatever. And what do I do, John? Or just kill them all. It's like, thank you, John.
No, but just do this. Follow the word 1% of the way. When you get to to that part of the destination and they're making sure you're already gone, kill that first dude. Then go back, kill the other dude, get the information. If he has a friend, kill him too. Just make sure if you have a companion with you, they don't screw you over.
Right.
The moment they screw you over, it gets 10 times worse. You run out of time to the point it's like, oh, look at that. I calculated 11 hours. I should have been done in 5 hours. But no, one person ruined that for me. So it looks like I got to do this the hard way.
Even better, don't have a companion. Just do it by
Just
yourself.
do it by yourself.
Right.
Don't take a hostage.
Your commando. Just if at all possible, get you a team. Get you a team of commandos. You're probably
better yet, go back to your house. Get your guns.
Make sure
they go hunt them down.
Make sure you're really good. Make sure that you can break chains. You can rip out seats out of cars. Make sure you have that skill. I did it.
Make sure.
I did it.
Better yet, if a bunch of mall cops surround you, just bulk up and they all fly off of you.
Just bulk up like the Hulk and fling them off of you. You're gonna need some protein. So you
like here's some 2 jugs. I didn't open them yet. There you go.
Right.
Get your workout.
Right. Get your workout on. So yeah, that about covers Commando.
Yep.
It's as I said, one of the quintessential action movies of the 1980s, up there with movies like Rambo: First Blood Part 2, and some of the other ones. It was an awesome, fun ride. I recommend you watch this movie. Anything else?
No, that's all.
All right then. See you later. See you later, folks. See you later, fam. And have a great year. Make it a good one.